Hello, friends. My name is Charmaine from To Witch Isle, and this is another Witches Cauldron. I'm going back to another exercise from the book called Adult Children of Emotionally Immature Parents by Lindsay C. Gibson. And this is another exercise from that book that also kind of sat with me a little bit and was one of the harder exercises to do, but so worth doing when it comes to a healing journey or a spiritual journey for that fact. So, this exercise is releasing yourself from a self defeating role. Sometimes when we're young, we tend to get stuck with some of the childhood roles that we had, thinking that's just the way it is. There's something in this book written that I have highlighted, and it says, people often keep playing their childhood role self far into adulthood because they believe it keeps them safe and it is the only way to be accepted. And that is just such a sad statement right there, that we are so clingy to this idea that it might keep us safe to behave a certain way when there are people who accept you no matter who you are. Okay, so the exercise itself, I'm just going to read it straight from the book because it's not going to be that long, and then I'll tell you my thoughts. Take a moment now to write a short personality description of someone in your life who makes you feel nervous or small. Next, think about how you behave around that person, and then write a short description of the role self you've been playing with the person. See if you can spot a healing fantasy that might be driving you to seek this person's acceptance at all costs. How much time have you spent wishing this person would act differently towards you? Do you think you might be playing out a self effacing role that no longer serves you? Are you ready to see yourself differently and relate to this person as you would anyone else? Now, think about it. That really comes down to those people that are really close in your lives, your mother, your father, which this is on emotionally immature parents. So clearly it's driven towards that. But this could be aunts, uncles, this could be anybody in your life that you've known for a while, and maybe you've just been away for a long time, that when you do finally start healing and put up a boundary there, those particular people get a little upset. Um, I'm going to read just a little bit more beyond that particular part, just because I feel like it's an important part of what you're doing there. It says sometimes giving up a healing fantasy of how we will finally win love means we will have to face unwanted feelings about people close to us. Many of us tend to feel guilty and ashamed for feelings we deem to be unacceptable. We're convinced that the only way to be a good person is to repress these feelings. However, if we squash our real feelings for too long, they may bubble up in ways that force us to stop and look at what's wrong. And those ways that it pops up that we're forced to stop and look at what's wrong are sometimes those illnesses that happen out of nowhere and have no reason for them. As I was healing and really working on my mental health, I had a lot of gut issues, acid reflux that seemed to get worse, weird asthma things that would pop up, not to mention the nagging headaches that I always, always, always had. Plus, just it seemed like my body was revolting. Like, for a while there, I was having a lot of neurological issues where I was tripping, and I knew there was no reason for me to be tripping because I'd be tripping on absolutely nothing. I'm walking through the grocery store on the long stretch where there is nothing in front of me, just rolling a cart, and I'm tripping up on my own feet. And those neurological problems, I couldn't really find a source to. And it was really, I do believe now, that it was from me repressing all of those emotions that I just couldn't hold in anymore. There was no more space for them, and my body was now upset. I was filling a role that I could no longer play in as adult, and because I was filling that role, my whole self revolted against it, and that's why I had all these weird illnesses going on that they could not find a source for. The lesions I was getting near my face, the lesions I had on my neck. It was things that, just kind of cleared up once I really started working on this stuff. Once I really started accepting that I had to work on the way I handled my emotions in order to make myself better. There's another book that I will review in an upcoming episode of To Which I'll The Body Keeps the Score. And that book has so much great information on how your body actually holds and stores trauma over years. And it's worth a great look. And I think I will do that book review maybe next month sometime, maybe the following month. We'll see what happens. I got to reread it. I loved it the first time I read it, but in order to get the things that I really want to put out here to get you guys to read it is what I need to read it again for. Thank you for joining me here on this episode of The Witch's Cauldron. Of course, take what resonates and leave the rest. And we'll see you next time. And until then, light and love.